My name is Christopher. My full name is Professor Christopher Elton, which sounds a bit self-important. But I'm here in my studio at the Royal Academy of Music in London. And I'm head of keyboard here. And I'm lucky to have a lot of lovely students. I've done quite a lot of international competition jury work. And I'm looking forward to being involved with this particular competition. And especially as it's the great composer for piano, I guess it's Chopin, that we're going to be dealing with in this particular project.
Why do you think Chopin is such a well-loved composer today?
I think it's different levels of reason. I mean, you can say for the general public, they think they like it because it's got wonderful tunes, it's very engaging in the ear, it's relatively easy, it's accessible. But I think even though they don't maybe recognize it, there's something much deeper than that, which appeals to them subconsciously. And that is that there is in this music not just an immediate likability about it, but there is something of deep sincerity. There's something of, I think, great pathos. There's something which has, a quality that penetrates to the man, a quality of spirituality, a quality of pathos. Yes, it's not on the whole happy music for all the fact that it might sound engaging. And I think people listen to it and recognize that, if you like, they're being talked to. Something is being said that's important and that is valuable and that is meaningful and that actually repays listening to many, many times.
What does Chopin's music mean to you? What do you enjoy most about it?
Most of it. So I enjoy it from different points of view. I enjoy it just to listen to because I find it, the qualities I've spoken about, and I find it has this extraordinary dignity and a great sense of architecture, a great sense of construction. As a pianist, as a teacher, it's important to me because of what it demands of us as pianists, both in terms of instrumental ability and also in terms of musical understanding and, I think, personal response to great music.
Which are your favourite compositions?
Well, often it's situations whatever you're working at the time, but I suppose if I had to go, I would probably say the Fourth Ballade. Funnily enough, I was given an interview for BBC Music Magazine, I think, and I was asked that question. I said the Fourth Ballade, and he said, everybody's saying the Fourth Ballade. Fourth Ballade, F minor Fantasy, B minor Sonata, mostly the late pieces for me are the greatest ones, Polonaise, Fantasy, Barcarolle, and the concertos. But you mentioned some and then you realise, heavens, how did I miss this out?
Would you say the etudes are necessary for pianists to learn and conquer?
I'm not sure I like the word conquer. It sounds like a kind of a battle or Olympic project. Yes, I think for any serious pianist, I don't mean they have to play every single etude, but they do have to study the Chopin etudes. Funnily enough, I've given 2 lessons this morning, and both started with Chopin etudes. There is something so exposed about this music. I mean, people can play wonderfully impressively Rachmaninoff etude tableau, or Prokofiev etudes, or even Debussy studies, and the Chopin etudes just reveal everything. There's no escape from anything that's imperfect. They cover virtually the full range of certainly all the problems that you find in his music. And they are also great studies because they're great music. But I think they are difficult, they're hugely challenging, but if you play them well, you have got a wonderful classical and romantic pianism there.
What technique in Chopin's writings is the most difficult to master, in your opinion?
I don't think I can quite go down that line because it's different for different students. Some have problems with the articulation, the sparkle that's needed. Others have problems more likely with the kind of suppleness, with fluidity, with legato. I mean, a technical problem is producing the most wonderful cantabile. So there are, I think, for each student, they may come with things that are well developed and things that are less well developed. And I think you just have to work with each student, both to strengthen the strengths, but also to build the weaknesses, so they no longer, hopefully, are weaknesses.
And who are your favourite Chopin interpreters?
Yes, I knew you were going to ask me that one. The depressing thing is that they're mostly dead. Certainly Rubinstein, Cocteau. I mean, not to copy, because I wouldn't do it like that now, but it is just the sound again is sublime. Lipati, very beautiful Chopin. There were one or two magical performances of Mazevich, I can recollect. And I mean, certainly, yeah, there are living pianists, but I think if I'm listening for sheer joy, I would probably listen to most of the dead pianists.
Is there any advice you can offer the competitors when approaching Chopin's music?
I would hope that the advice for a competitor is no different from the advice I give to any pianist and any musician, because I don't think you should be taking a different approach because you're in a competition. You've got the same responsibility to the music if you're in a concert. My advice is, all your work, try and work through the music. Yes, you have to work technically, but try not to treat the technique as a kind of isolated trial of strength or trial of virtuosity. Neuhaus, in his book The Art of Teaching the Piano, playing the piano, has a nice phrase there that the more gifted the student, the more hard it is to tell whether they're working technique or working music. And I think with Chopin it's very much this, your technique. If you understand the music, you appreciate it, it helps you work the technique better. Be sensitive, be sensible, be inquiring. Try and find what the music has to say and work through that to speak not just with respect for Chopin, or never without it, but also for a belief that, as with all great music, I think great music gives you a chance to demonstrate something of yourself as an artist, as well as just subservience to the score.
And is there anything in particular you're looking for or hoping to hear in Chopin's music from the competitors?
I'm hoping to be made aware of how wonderful this music is. I'm hoping to hear people that I genuinely, at the end of listening, I say, I really want to hear that person play again, and I want to hear them play Chopin. Because to me, Chopin is not the only composer, but it is a hugely challenging one. I think I often find that students are actually, they love Chopin, but they're quite afraid of playing it, because they know it's a very, very tough test. So I don't want to hear people who are just dutiful students. I want to hear people who rise to the artistic challenge. If they, of course, the more perfect they are, the better. But perfection in itself is less important than the ability to speak and to communicate. And I want to be moved by performances.